Good morning, guys. You're here live with Bubba Da Vinci with Coffee with Bubba. Start of a brand new day. Hopefully, everybody's having a good one so far. We'll be going over a couple of very interesting things today. I don't know how many of you, if anybody is following my Twitter feed. If you do, that's great. Matter of fact, I'll put this stuff right up right now. Is if you want to join my social media, so you can follow the little things that are popping up, other than the reminders that are auto set up on here, both on X and Insta. Real simple, at Bubba Da Vinci. At OG Bubba Da Vinci, and we appreciate the follows. So, but it's also good for getting the updated information on what we'll be talking about for the day. The big thing that we'll be discussing today is I cheated. That's all. That's the only thing I'm going to say to start the thing off is I cheated yesterday. Not a good thing. Not proud of it, but it is where it is. We're going to start off by getting our daily cup of coffee. I did. Oh my goodness. And I did it. And naturally I moved the other direction. I did set up the area a little bit different, moved it over. So at the start, when I'm sitting where I'm sitting, coffee cup and everything will be there. I'm digging the matcha so much that I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with it for a little bit until I figure out what I'm going to do to doctor up the coffee. I had a second cup of it, and I really didn't enjoy the flavor. And it's not that it's a bad flavor; it's just not an enjoyable flavor. The Rise, which we're talking about, Rise mushroom drinks. Again, we are giving it a 90-day trial because supposedly the medicinal purposes, which is in tomorrow's show. Talking about Rise, is the medicinal purposes are supposed to be amazing, blah, 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 blah. We've gone over it in the last couple of shows. So I'm going to give it 90 days to see if I feel anything, if it feels like it's working, if I feel more focused, exactly, whatever. And that's based on the lion's mane and the mushrooms inside there. Unfortunately, I find that most of the mushroom drinks do not smell and or taste very good. This one, they have a mushroom matcha, which was not bad. The smell was still horrible, but was not bad as far as flavor is concerned. I doubled the amount of matcha that they recommended in order to get more flavor, the more of the matcha flavor. Today, I'm doing the double scoop of matcha. Yesterday, I added a half a tablespoon of organic cinnamon, which is supposed to be very good for diabetics. And so it's supposed to be a tablespoon per day. So yesterday I did a half a tablespoon in the matcha, half a tablespoon in my first shake of the day. And it was fantastic. The cinnamon flavor was well balanced. I actually enjoyed the matcha with the cinnamon better than the plain matcha. And I had made a comment that I think it needed some milk. So I went and got some organic coconut milk with almond. So it's almond milk and coconut milk blend, 100% organic, zero sugar. I'm going to see how that tastes. It should add a little nutty flavor to it from the almond. Coconut milk doesn't typically add a lot of flavor, maybe a little bit of sweetness. But no, there is no sugar, no sweetener in here. Blended it up, put it in Mr. Green here. It actually makes it look a little more coffee-like than matcha-like. So there's my good morning coffee for the day. I have to say, I really like these hydro flasks. I know that there's other brands that people really like for keeping their hot stuff hot and their cool stuff cool. But the Hydro Flask has done me very well. I've tried other brands, including Yeti. I do think Yeti's probably one of the most, A, the most prevalent, but B, one of the best ones on the market, but they're super expensive. And I have a tendency to either lose these and or destroy these containers. And so I hate spending the Yeti kind of money on them, since I seem to have to replace them at least twice a year. And if any, yeah, I don't even want to go to how often I lose or destroy these things. But that's kind of me. All right. So we should kind of get into the topics of the day today. So, of course, the first thing that we always jump into is the medal counts. So, not surprisingly, People's Republic of China is still at number one, at the number one slot. France has moved up to the number two slot and again, what we're going to do is I'll talk gold medals first, and then I'll go over all the medals. But let's just kind of go through the gold medals, because that's what counts. That's what I'm rating this on. Japan has moved up to third place with 8 medals. That's tied with France. Australia is 7th. America is now 5th. UK is 6th. Republic of China is 6th. Italy is, I'm sorry, Republic of China is 7. Italy is 8. Canada is 9, and Germany rounds it out at 10. And we'll throw up these medal counts now. So there's the order that we're doing it. So let's kind of go through. So People's Republic of China right now is at 11 gold, 7 silver, and 3 bronze, for a total of 21 medals. Now, once again, like yesterday, if we were rating it on overall medals, America would be in first place. We'll get to their numbers in a second, but France is in number 2 with 8 gold medals, 10 silver, and 8 bronze, for a total of 26. Japan is 834 for a total of 15. Australia is 764 for a total of 17. America is at 61312 for a total of 31. Total medal count, America is in first place. Tomorrow maybe in the graphics I'll actually put whoever's in first place in the total medal count. Now, right now, not only are we in first place for overall medals, but we're in first place for silver medals. Guess what, America? Get going. It's gold that counts. All right. But anyway, first place overall there. Great Britain is 677 for a total of 20. Republic of Korea 633 for a total of 12. And do we need to put the Republic of Korea? Can we just put South Korea? I mean, is there? I have to Google it, but is there a reason for Republic of Korea? Does everybody not know that North Korea doesn't participate in Republic of Korea? I don't know. It's kind of like Great Britain, and there is actually probably a reason to say Great Britain as opposed to UK. I don't know what that is. I should Google that too. But anyway, Republic of Korea 633 for a total of 12. Italia 364 for a total of 13. Canada 223 for a total of 7. Good job hanging in the top 10, Canada. The Germans round out the top 10 with 222 for a total of 6. Blows my mind that Germany is so far down. Usually they're a little bit higher up the flagpole here. But that's your medal count for today. So good job, athletes. Keep it going. I did get a chance, not much of one, but I did get a chance yesterday while I was waiting for some weather to come in to watch some of the Olympic highlights. And let me tell you, our gymnasts are amazing. I watch those young ladies and watch what they do to their body, and I'm just like, wow. And on top of that, they're all built like tanks. I mean, these women are so amazingly strong. I'm just flabbergasted. So, okay. So topics of the day. So, there's there's always so much going on, but you know, a lot of the stuff I really don't want to cover specifically unless it's new and kind of a big thing. You know, um, Everything I was reading and I'm looking at, Israel has basically all but declared a state of war in the Middle East. And which people are going, yeah, but everybody knows they're at war. It's kind of like it's kind of like Vietnam. Vietnam was not a war; it was a military action. And the thing between Israel and what's going on in the Middle East is they have not declared it as an official war, and neither is the other side. This is more of a, I don't know what they're calling it, the conflict, I think, is what I typically see in most of the terms. All right, I'm going to take my first cup of the matcha. I always do this. So it's actually becoming a little more appealing looking. A bigger hint of cinnamon and actually a little bit of coconut. But man, you cannot get away from the smell of this mushroom smell. The reason I'm putting it off to the side is, in order for this to be ready for the morning, even inside the hydro flask and everything else, I boil this water at a super high level. So that way, because I get started at 4:00 in the morning, and I want to prep everything for this show as early as I possibly can. So I boil the water, get it super hot, put it inside the hydro flask. When I get here at the studio, I do all my mixing of everything in there and give it a good shake, and so it's ready for my drinking. And it stays relatively hot. So I try to let it cool down a little bit, so I'm not doing a spit take on the air. Oh my goodness, it's better than yesterday. High taste of cinnamon, mild matcha flavor. And believe it or not, even though I didn't put more than, I don't know, maybe an ounce of, maybe two. I should measure that out as part of this, but an ounce or two of the coconut almond milk blend into this, I definitely taste. I don't taste the almond at all, but I do taste the coconut. And that's almost pleasant. It's not, yesterday was a little bit bitter. Both matcha has a slightly bitter flavor. Not much, but I mean, that's part of the matcha flavor. You mix it up. If you don't put sweetener in it, matcha's got a really nice, smooth flavor blend on the tongue, but with a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. And the mushrooms definitely have a bitter flavor, and the cinnamon kind of takes some of that away. Everybody knows what the taste of cinnamon is. And so yesterday was pretty decent. The coconut milk takes the edge off of all of it. And this is actually really good. If I could, when I work on sweeteners, we'll talk about that later. Later, probably next week, finding ways to not artificially sweeten something, but sweeten things through natural flavors. Like in tea, I like to, if I use a lot of lemon in my black teas, but I will also sometimes add orange, and the orange adds the sweetness. That's what I'm kind of talking about. But anyway, Space Force approved. All right. So the, no, by the way, good morning, Farm Don. Sorry, I did see that. I was didn't mean to let you wait 15 minutes before I actually made a comment. So anyway, everything's either right now what Trump said, or what Harris said, or what the Israelis have said, or who we've killed, or things like that. So it's really overshadowing the Olympics. I actually had to dive way down in the news articles on multiple sites. And just so you know, I'm grabbing my news from Google News, Microsoft News, and then I actually go to Wall Street Journal, New York Times. I have multiple of them up, and I grab top stories from multiple feeds. And if I see a top story from either the Associated Press or the news site that hits 4 or 5 of the sites, then I try to use that as a something to talk about today, because that should be what everybody's seeing on their phones if they're looking at general information. Unfortunately, for a lot of the people I know, the first thing will pop up is like the Kardashians or whatever the social media thing of the day is, which is unfortunate because so many people ignore the news, which I think is why they sensationalize it so much now. I mean, the headlines have got to be so big, body of the top Hezbollah commander found in such and such, or, China is gearing up for attack. And then you read the article and it's like, okay, there's stuff going on, but it's definitely not as sensationalized as they put in there. But I do think that, the topics of the day, Netanyahu is definitely getting ready to put his fist down and say, we're at war. Where that leads us, I don't know. But there's a lot of strikes and things going on in the Middle East right now. We'll leave it at that. The Russians are really putting their war footing on also. Tank drills. They've lost so many people. They're training people up. They're doing drills with the units from the different peripheral countries that are part of their group, and a lot of drills with China, mentioning China. I think China's probably pounding on its chest right now. It's doing very well in the Olympics. It's doing all these military exercises. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it definitely feels like there is they're trying to get something going. Venezuela, Elon Musk posted on a couple of different places satellite photos of what's going on in Venezuela. The protests, I mean, you would think everybody in the country is there protesting. It's like there are amazing photos of massive amounts of bodies all crammed in there to protest these elections. And I don't know. I have no idea how that's going to end up. It's like, crazy times. But that's the world we live in. Some more local news. So yesterday, it's been hot here. My friends, the people who are almost everybody who's on this Twitch channel right now, who are personal friends of mine or things like that, they know the crazy weather we've been dealing with in the Midwest. We've had, I think, a record number of tornadoes here. Me personally, has been affected by several. Just the high winds and close tornadoes and things like that. We have so much damage to our property, into buildings, that it's through the roof. But we've had an entire town, Greenville, which is not that far from here, that was completely destroyed. Let me see if I can find these pictures. Because we're in the Midwest, and the Midwest is pretty flat overall. We've had a lot of I got some great pictures. We have a lot of windmills, those giant windmills that you see out in California, or everywhere now. But wind farms are very popular. We have a lot of them around me because farmers can have them put in, get a good sum of money for having them there. Everything's expensive being in the Midwest because there's the low population density, and lots of space between farms and things like that. So we get discounts on our energy prices, our electrical prices, based on the wind farms being inside there. So it's a good thing. But when tornadoes come through, this is what you get. So I know that's a cornfield. That corn is probably chest high. And that is the center part of a windmill. Here it is close up, or closer up. You can see the other windmills in the background. And yeah, here is the windmill and the blades. So yeah, right here is the blades. This is the top of the windmill. And the other portion is the straw. Here it is close up again. See the corn, you see it completely broken down like a straw and folded over. Yeah, this is a good picture. It shows the broken down the straw. What you see up here in front is part of the blades that got thrown when it was going out there. And then way over here in the corner is another one. Now, these things are massive. I mean, this doesn't really show the scale. I mean, these things are bigger around than a vehicle is long. Yeah, they're super tall. The blades you have to put, you've seen them go down the highway. These things are massive. And if I didn't get a good picture of it, but if you were to stand where I was standing and to look to the south, because the tornado came north to south through the fields after destroying Greenfield, all you saw was several, I would say probably between 20 and 50 of these giant power generating windmills all folded down like that. It was a straight line. Tornadoes don't tend to meander. They keep going in a straight line. So after it hit Greenfield and wiped out all those, it came towards where I live and destroyed a bunch of things in my town. The winds, blew everything out there. But we know lots of people that the town completely lost their homes, things like that. Like I said, I've suffered a lot of damage. And this has been kind of an ongoing thing. First of all, we live in the Midwest, so tornadoes are normal. It's not the first time we've had them around me. I haven't had 2 in a year that have done damage to my property. Or I've known people that have lost significant amount of property from this. And this year it's been bad. I've been showing friends and family the photos because you can go into the town of Greenville and there's like a handful of houses still there and the rest of the town is completely gone. And so anyway, storms have been bad this year. So yesterday we're just getting repairs done. I'm trying to make a decision whether to tear down my house or repair it because the cost of repairing the house is getting to the point where it exceeds the value of the house. And even if I did all this work and got it up there, I would not be able to ever recoup the amount of money going in if I ever sold the house. But that's okay. We ended up yesterday with this massive alert. I did the show, wasn't a big deal. And then I was walking out to go do some more chores before starting my full work day. And my phone starts beeping. Actually, if you guys remember, in the show, I was getting alerts in the show. And I kept having to stop and look at my phone because anybody that's smart in the Midwest has an alert system on there, which is done by the National Weather Service and local weather service to say, high winds, this is what's going on. We're getting these patterns that could be tornadoes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was getting all these beeps during the show, but nothing overly threatening. They were all warnings. And then, boom, out of the blue, we got nailed with that we are going to end up getting these massive winds, hail. This big storm was going to come whipping through in the afternoon. It was going to get increasingly worse with 60 to 80 mile an hour winds by 5 p.m. yesterday. And then throughout the night, potential issues. And then it was just going to blow on through. And we got it. It was pretty bad. So my stress level was pretty high yesterday. And trying to deal with that, get prepared for that. And I told you yesterday, the day before, I had issues where my blood pressure was high and everything else. So while I thought I was going to be doing better, yesterday everything started getting really high again. And this is leading into the cheating. Promise. the day just kind of kept going. I was trying to get everything done. We're having foundation people come out to look at the house because it did some foundation damage. So we got to figure out, are we lifting the house? What are we doing? Is it even worth repairing? And so that got canceled because of the storms, and it took weeks to get this appointment to come out there. The problem with insurance companies, when you have all these storms and everybody's got damage, everybody's backed up and you can't get anything done until you get all these quotes and you're moving on everything. So you're living in chaos. So that got canceled. And then I'm trying to get content done and things done for the shows. And remember, if you were to look at my day, this is now part of my day, which this is more of a personal journey. This ties into work a little bit, but I'm doing this primarily because of what's going on with my diabetes. That's why I'm doing it so early in the morning, because after I get off this, I go start my work day. I still have family responsibilities, farm responsibilities. I have other things going on in my life. And then within my work life, we have multiple products, multiple companies, multiple projects that we are working with. And I'm trying to cram that into 10 hours of my day, or maybe 12. I'm trying to condense this into 2, maybe 3 max. And then I have to try to get family responsibilities and farm responsibilities, or property responsibilities, however you want to say it, on top of that. Because mostly it's not the animals and everything else, which takes time. It's the property, trying to figure out roof, house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with getting everything repaired and done. So pressure was high yesterday. Content did not come in. I feel like I've got obligations that aren't getting hit. I've got vendors that are pounding on me. And I'm like, ugh. So everything was going great, staying on my diet. Everything was working. And it was like the last straw. I was waiting for some things yesterday. I contacted 2 vendors, and I contacted a media company that we were working with, saying, okay, I talked to my people this morning. We'll have this out to you tonight or late this afternoon. Now, you have to remember, when you say that something's coming in a day or at a certain time, most people cut off at 5 p.m. That's the standard work day. I'm having a hard time getting non-business people to understand that. So when everybody's making commitments, they're saying, yep, I'll get it to you today. And today seems to be 10, 11 o'clock at night. And that it's not working. And me being a type A personality, number 1, and 2, me being the one that's actually making the commitments, it's affecting me mentally, physically, and professionally. So I had said in the morning, this is what was going to happen. 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm getting pinged. So I'm pinging the people, and I'm like, oh, I'll get it to you later. And I'm like, what do I say? What do I do? Do I ignore these vendors and these business people? So anyway, my blood pressure started getting high and high and high again, to the point where the ringing in my ears and all that stuff was getting really bad. And I was thinking I might have to go to the doctor. My daughter was cooking for herself, and she saw me, and I think she thought it was more of my dietary thing. And she was making hamburger, very lean hamburger. And we talked about this. She just had surgery. So she's trying to eat to help heal in preparation for nursing school. And some fresh black beans and everything else. It was high protein, very low carb, very low in saturated fat meal for her. And she made me a big bowl, and she said, eat. And I'm like, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm on this diet. I'm not supposed to do this and everything else. And then I got a message and a couple of messages from, both from the clients and from the content side. And one's pounding me saying, I really need this. And the other one saying, I'll get it to you later. And I ate. I just said, excuse me, it's my term, F this. And I said, I can't, it was either, I felt like at that point, either I eat or I go to the doctor. I go to the hospital. The hospital, because I felt like my blood pressure was so high. My body is so stressed and it's looking for something and it's not finding all the, it's purging. And so it's already stressed. I've already put my body in a stressful situation. I'm in a stressful situation overall with my daily activities. And then the extra stress of the, the situation that was happening at that moment. And I feel like I was either going to, my chest was even tightening and it was kind of like, I cannot afford to have a stroke or a heart attack going through this. And I mean, was it that bad? It might feel like, on this, and when I watch this later, it might feel like I'm being overly dramatic. I think the people that know me will say, I hold a lot of this stuff back. I try to deal with everybody. I mean, 10 years ago, the old Scott, I'm going to be like the military Scott, people hated me because I had zero emotions. I didn't care. It was all about the work. And if you failed something, I would fire you. I would scream at you. I would just strip you down like a drill sergeant would in front of everybody else. And people hated that. Over time, I've tried to taper that a little bit. Currently with my current teams, I try not to do that at all because I find that most people can't handle that. Now, I personally think it's great. We own a restaurant. My partners in the restaurant had 5 kids. And when I first started working with them, I treated them like I treated my kids, which is I dress them down. I scream at them. I tell them I'm disappointed. I tell them what they did wrong. Now, my kids are doing great because the real world doesn't care if you have an excuse why something didn't get done. And they don't care if they hurt your feelings. The real world works around things have to happen on a timeline and you're going to get it done or you're gone. And so knowing that my 3 daughters wanted to get environment nursing, guess what? You need to have some empathy, but when push comes down to shove, you need to make sure that person is being taken care of. No one cares if you push, you shouldn't care if you push someone out of the way and just say, let me get this done, right? You can't say, no, please. No, let me do this. Let me try. It's like, get it done or get out of the way, right? We're trying to save lives. We're trying to keep people healthy. We're doing things. Now, have some bedside manner for the patient if they can handle it and everything else. But even patients, if you're a horrible patient, a doctor should sit there and say, either you want your treatment, so sit down and take it like a man or a woman, or just, or go someplace else, right? If you don't want to be healthy, this is what we have to do, deal with it. Getting into what my middle daughter is, which is working with government and working with corporations and things like that, being an analysis in the think tank. Again, don't put emotion and everything into it. Get to the facts, get the job done. She's doing a great job interning in DC this year. And she was telling me, she thanked me for all the high pressure and everything I did, because she said it's a high pressure job, and she shined because she didn't feel like the pressure was horrible when everybody else did, but it was still hard, and I wasn't probably hard enough on her. And my oldest daughter, same sort of thing, getting into getting into marketing and strategies, getting her master's degree. And that's a very cutthroat environment, and she's glad. Well, anyway, my partner's kids have all said the same. First they all hated me. Everybody that saw the way I treated them told me I treated them poorly and it was horrible. And they're all doing great. And each one of them have come to me and said, hey, thank you. When I got my first job and my boss was yelling or doing things and doing everything else, they go, oh, this is nothing, right? They had been trained to deal with that stuff. But a lot of people now are snowflakes. And the second I don't even typically get angry anymore, but even that offends them. And yeah, farmed on, and some people know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you give clear instructions. If they aren't clear, they don't ask anything. And then, 48 hours later, when it's done and you can't go back and fix anything and something's not correct or it didn't get done at all, you're like, didn't you understand? They go, well, I didn't understand. So, and they go, well, we didn't ask any questions. It's weird how today's society even functions when that's how things are going. So anyway, my personality, I mean, I feel like part of the stress is I'm holding in who I naturally am, which is I should be banging heads together and, and just dressing these people down and just saying, shit or get off the pot, right? We've got to move forward. We've got to get this. And I'm peppering it down, and I'm trying to do this because these are good people. I mean, I don't think it's the fault of the people. I think it's the fault of society, social media, their parents. Everybody wants to be everybody's friend, and no one wants to. It's like, why achieve anything? I can just jump to the next job. Or why achieve anything if I take 4th or 5th place? America, losing in the Olympics. It's like you get your participation badge, your participation trophy. Guess what? Real world doesn't have participation trophies, right? Real world, you get fired if you don't get your shit done. If you don't get your shit done, there's real world consequences. Companies suffer, products suffer, things don't get done. And that's the reason the economy and everything's in the toilet. That's my soapbox. But anyway, going back to me cheating. So yeah, I was so stressed out last night. And I consider myself having a lot of willpower, and I fought it for about 20 minutes. I can smell everything cooking. Now they've been cooking and doing everything at home since I started this on Sunday, really on Monday, but since Sunday, and haven't had any problem. I just ignored or leave the area until they're finished eating. And, it was like, they could tell I was in distress, and it was like, here you go. And I kept thinking about it. And I was like, why am I killing myself? Why am I doing this? And I just started eating. And when I finished that bowl of meat and beans and, I think it was leeks or whatever was inside there, I felt better. The blood pressure kind of changed, and I was like, but then everything else about it was wrong. My stomach was like, okay, you now have solid food in here. So by the way, when you do a liquid diet, you can't go from having 0 solid product in your body for days or weeks or however long you're doing it, and then go have a slice of pizza. Right? Your body's going to want to reject it. It's going to hurt. Your stomach's cramped up. Typically, and what part of this is what we were supposed to be talking about tonight was my plan for going back up. So, the first day when you're done doing your liquid diet, you start eating softer foods. You might do oatmeals. You might do, whatever. And you might have like some salad or whatever, but you definitely don't jump straight into a steak, or you definitely don't jump right into, or if you do, you eat a little bit. I mean, just enough so your intestines and everything starts going, oh, okay, solid food again. It's going to do several things. It's going to bind you up. And you guys know what I mean. It's going to cause you intestinal discomfort. It's going to cause issues, and your body is not going to process it properly. It's too much too fast. So while I'd only been on this diet for 3 days, I had been purging everything out of my body. Everything was great. And what I had was, again, low saturated fat, pretty lean, proteins, blah, 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 blah. It still was solid, and it wasn't far enough along that it wasn't horrible, but it still made me feel like crap. And I cheated. So, long story short, I think I'm going to have to start all over again. So, I mean, if God, and I really don't want to because I'm supposed to be traveling and everything soon. So, yeah, where was I before? My baseline number. So I was at 206 pounds. I don't think I ate enough of anything yesterday to put on any weight, but it's definitely going to, my body's 100% kicked out of ketosis. And because I just took that product into my body. My body's going to think I'm feeding it again. It's going to restart everything. And so wherever I am tomorrow, I think it's going to take a couple of days before I start seeing that. My goal was, my guess was I was going to lose 2 pounds. I'm sorry, 10 pounds. So I wanted to be down to 196 on Sunday when I weighed in. Tomorrow, I anticipated to probably be at about 5 pounds, but I don't know where I'm going to be. My BMI was 29.6. My target was 23. Again, this is going to affect my BMI a little bit, but again, the journey's long. Not overly worried about it. And my A1C was 11.1. I was going to blood test tomorrow and see where my overall blood sugar is. While there was no sugar contained in any of the things that I ate, the way your body burns its sugar and does things will affect your A1C. Taking proteins affect your A1C, even with zero sugars. Everything you eat has natural sugars in it. It's kind of like you can make alcohol out of anything that you can, like any sort of vegetation product and things like that, because everything has kind of a natural form of sugar and glucose in it. And so you can make carrot alcohol or potato alcohol. People go, well, potatoes don't have sugar. Everything, any sort of starch has a sugar. And so there were base sugars in there. They were natural sugars, but it is going to mess with my A1C numbers over the 90 days. So what I have to do is figure out if I'm going to restart everything. This morning, drinking my coffee, going to do my shake, going to do the beef broth. I'm not going to cheat again today. And that's what every cheater says, right? I said I was going to be honest about what I'm doing and everything else, but this is why I'm telling you this, right? I thought I could just shine over it and keep going, but the truth of this journey or the process is whatever I'm feeling and I'm doing is going to be similar to if you follow this journey or you try to get healthier this way, the same thing will happen. And so, that's kind of where we are. So I apologize to anybody that goes back and looks at this. No one wants to be that guy. But I was, and that's where I'm at. And today I'm going to keep going with it. I spent a lot of time covering this because the other thing I want to talk to you about before we hit the 1 hour mark, which is almost here, is that we are having a second show today. So the second show every Thursday, I'm going to try to make Thursday guest day. And I talked about this yesterday. Most of my guests do not want to be here at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or if you're on the West Coast, 5 o'clock in the morning to do this. A, we don't have enough followers yet at that hour to do anything. B, it's hard to get it in your work day. So on Thursdays, I'm going to do 2 shows, 7 and 7. Tonight's show, if everything goes according to plan, I will have Billy Lutz on with me. Billy, the Trainer Club Lutz, is a Pokemon Go creator, pretty well known worldwide. I don't think I've ever been any place with him that he didn't, he didn't have people coming up to him and going, Billy, Trainer Club. I mean, Jeep events, you name it, and it's pretty much happened. It's pretty amazing. It's great for him. And what most people don't know is Billy has a master's of human nutrition and functional medicine. And his career was to get into functional medicine. Got sidetracked into becoming a Pokemon Go creator instead. So I tell my daughters I don't know if a master's degree is necessary. And has done very well. But every time we go someplace or we've done something, Billy focuses on his personal health and nutrition. He likes to reach out with people when people ask him and give advice and help. And I feel like it's not like my advice. If I give you advice, don't take it with a grain of salt, take it with a pound of salt, right? Again, not a doctor, not a lawyer, barely a content creator. I'd say not a content creator. And so, you know, don't listen to me, but he does have a degree in functional medicine and nutrition. And so he gives advice. He tells us it helped my family. It helped me, you know, over the last couple of years as I've been doing things and I've been gravitating towards eating healthier. Now, what he suggests or anything has nothing to do with my diabetes coming back under control. That has to do with age and other things. Diabetes is just a horrible disease. But I wanted to bring him on and talk to him about, you know, different things. I need to start getting more protein in there. And I want to get better protein than what I'm using now. I need to start getting my minerals and things in there. So what I wanted to do is bring him on. He's starting a couple new channels. He has an outdoor channel that talking about getting out, going overlanding, hiking, you know, four-wheeling, things like that, which is something he's interested in. And he has a nutritional channel that he's trying to get off the ground, talking about eating properly and healthy and things like that. So I'd like to bring him on and talk about those channels. He'll be on at 7 p.m. this evening. And we'll spend an hour to an hour and a half kind of going through that stuff and going down that rabbit hole. And then every week on Thursdays, hopefully I'll have it. I'm going to try to get the next 4 or 5 Thursdays locked down. I'm going to bring in different people that have diabetes, people who have dealt with diabetes in their family and how stubborn people are. Hopefully I'll be able to get some people to talk about nutrition. Maybe I'll be able to get the people from Rise on. Highly doubt that with 7 followers. But anything that we can do to kind of help this process along, that's what we're going to do. So that's the end of the show today. Again, I apologize for cheating. I will let people know tonight, and I'll probably have it as part of a discussion tonight, whether I reset or I keep going. I think that one of the big things that we have to look at always is making sure that anything I do on here, we're doing it so it actually tries to help someone. Again, follow my social medias if you don't already on X and Instagram. It's at OG Bubba Da Vinci. Not a lot on there yet, but every day I try to post. I try to post who's coming on. I'm trying to do that. Again, if the more people I have on there, the more I'll try to spend time on getting it up and kind of doing things. Thank you for watching the show. I'm going to try to work on the Twitch stream a little bit more and get some more information, infographics, and things like that up on there. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much. And I hope that you get a chance to join us this evening for the show with Billy Lutz. We'll be talking to you soon.